Hello and welcome back to Endnotes, the supplemental bi-weekly video series from the Erie Reader, courtesy of Menagerie Studio. And we are coming at you mostly live after a short little break with this beautiful, gorgeous desk, thanks to Brad Triana. Now let's dive into some fun things to do this November weekend, shall we? Well, starting Thursday and running all the way through Sunday, Mercyhurst Theater Program will present the classic musical Guys and Dolls. You know, luck be a lady that night or Sunday afternoon if you want. And from Thursday through Saturday, Rex Havens will be at Junior's Last Laugh with some just solid, clean, classic comedy. It's great. And also you can go to Heisenberg, which will open at Drama Shop. It's a subtle romantic two-hander, which means, two people in the script only, featuring Sean Clerkin and Jessica Annunziata, which will run every Friday and Saturday until November 18th. And if you're curious for more about Drama Shop, check out our Zach Flock episode. And at noon on Friday, acclaimed Armenian cellist Nurek Haknaziarian will be coming live from Studio Q at WQLN on Upper Peach for an hour of music and stories. And that event is open to the public for all to see and hear, and it will also be on the radio. And All in Act Theater will stage the opening of Tom, Dick, and Harry, a hilarious farce that will run every weekend in November. For more information, check out allinact.net. And on Friday night, the Long Island Band with the Long Beach Sound, Ojiwawa, will be at King's Rook Club, and 6 Year Stretch, one of Erie's favorite rock quintets, will also be at Sherlock's. So check out one of those. And on Saturday, the 4th of November, you can head up to the Worst Party Ever. That's Worst with a U, and that's at Peak and Peak for German food, drinks, and all kinds of festivities. And the Erie Horror Film Festival will be going on in Edinburgh. Like their event on Facebook for more information on that as it arrives. The Avalon Hotel Ballroom will see Wild and Eerie. The comedy show will feature DC Youngfly and Rob Allen for a bit of Wild and Out style. Check that out. And cue up the theme from 2001 because the Erie Phil will be presenting Zarathustra Speaks at the Warner Theater, a show in 3 parts that is featuring the previously mentioned cellist, Nurek Haknaziarian. And that will be just a wonderful time. Also, on Saturday, TEDx Erie will be taking place at McDowell High School, but stay tuned for more on that, our featured event, later. And also, then, that night at Scotty's, there will be a songwriter showcase with Matt Texter for his birthday, along with Chris Eric and Zach Orr, friend of the show over there. And also at the King's Rook Club, they will bring you Cleveland's funk jam band Vibe and Direct. Check that out if you are so inclined. And on Sunday, the Cathedral of St. Paul will feature a celebration of the life and music of Harry T. Burleigh. That's Harry Thacker Burleigh, the African-American composer and arranger of the early 20th century, and also Erie native. So check that out for some great spiritual, historical context. Mercyhurst will also host the iconic actress and comedian Lily Tomlin for a sold-out event, but you might be able to get tickets if you get early enough if they're open. And Basement Transmissions will see the UK metalcore band Scream Blue Murder, along with Altered Perceptions, Unwill, Shiver, Design the Void, and Raven's Law. And then also, perhaps most importantly, on Tuesday, November 7th, that will be Election Day. Now, for a full ballot, go to eriecountypa.gov or find our online election guide at eriereader.com. That will have candidate links, district information, etc. Now, depending on where you live, the big races are for, one of the biggest is for Erie's next mayor. That is between the Republican John Persinger and Democrat Joe Schember. Now, along with that, the Erie County executive race will take place between incumbent Democrat Kathy Dahlkemper and Republican Art Oligieri. And beyond that, there will be city council and school board and a host of judgeships on the ballot. Please vote. All elections matter, and in local elections, your vote makes that much more of a difference. Be informed and get involved and find out, please. So I will see you at the polls, in the theaters, for the talks, and at the shows. It's going to be a good weekend as it gets a little colder. And now I am very happy to welcome our guest, who will be talking about our featured event, TEDx Erie, and I want to welcome Jonathan De Silva. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, absolutely. So, well, first off, for anyone that is a little less familiar, can you fill us in on the philosophy of TED as well as TEDx Erie?
So TED is an international nonprofit that really does a series of conferences based around the idea of sharing ideas worth spreading.
Yes.
And generally, the format that they choose to get is try to get people who speak about one idea for no more than 18 minutes. And what that does is it actually makes it really hard to do well.
Yeah.
Because frankly, anyone who does anything, if you're good at anything, you can talk about whatever you do
endlessly.
Forever.
Yeah.
But if I told you had a 5-minute limit, you're going to need several months to prepare.
I got to get all this in there and kind of be laser focused. And
right.
I feel like TED has just been the benchmark for presentations and all, and kind of really helped presentations evolve to the next level, especially putting them all out there to the public. I remember first getting introduced to TED, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a wealth of information from just the smartest people in the world.
Everyone.
On the most interesting topics.
I mean, the trick about what makes TED different is that you're trying to get those general ideas from everybody from PhDs to Steve Jobs to Bill Clinton to villagers in Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
To present one idea, and you have to be able to connect to the world with it. So how do you make that idea relevant and interesting is what makes, I think, TED Talks exactly what you just said.
Yeah, and it's not just like you kind of alluded to. It's not just shop talk. It's not
Correct.
just for the professionals
Correct.
or the academics or anything like that. It is accessible to everyone.
In fact, so every TEDx is the locally organized TED TED
almost
Talks.
like a franchise kind of.
It's a license, a separate license. We have to apply for it from TED, and they grant it to us. So they give us the guidelines and tell us what not to do, and and let us do it. But each TEDx Erie included, does it differently. And the way we do it is when we get our speakers to apply, we assign them to coaches. And I was coaching 2 of the speakers this year. And
excellent.
One of them, Paul Green, he's a doctor of pharmacology. And I had to tell him, okay, who's your audience? Who are you trying to get at?
Right.
Because he normally tells his story about drug resistance to doctors and hospital administrators.
Right.
Well, you're trying to reach an Erie audience or a global audience. You can't tell them,
you can't have that, kind of argot or kind of that
very dry,
that weird lexicon of
exactly.
Vocabulary.
Right. Explain it how you explain it to your grandmother.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet make it interesting because your grandmother has a PhD.
Right.
But
yes. and you're still trying to be entertaining as well. I mean, it's not.
You got to hold the interest.
Yes.
I mean, because if it's a lecture, then nobody wants to watch it.
Right.
See, the thing about what a lot of people don't understand about TED Talks is that each of the TEDx events and the TED events are live events.
Right.
But all of them are put up on YouTube. So you have the live show on one hand, but I tell the speakers, what are people going to remember? It's that talk. And if you don't get them in the first 5 seconds, they're not going to watch the rest of it.
And now the theme for this year is
Bridges Over Barriers.
Bridges Over Barriers. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and how that will tie into the event as a whole?
Well, so technically, I don't have to have a theme. Well, So when I apply for my license to renew it, they usually say, please provide a theme. We're not going to hold you to it. And it's really meant for us to be a curation tool and a guiding tool for people who want to apply. For the last couple of years, with the exception of our first year, I've always had the volunteers vote. So they selected like 50 different topics and we all voted. And this one came to the top. It was right after the election.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
But one of the things that were coming up were people talking about the wall.
Right, certainly. Obviously.
Which hasn't come up yet.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that has universal appeal.
Yeah.
All of our speakers invariably try to weave it in somehow. Sometimes intentionally, a lot of times not. But if you've seen, when you see the talks, you will see that there is some sort of structure behind the way we arrange them based on what we know what they're going to be speaking.
And I know you had, was it Dietrich Wagner that did?
Yes.
You had a call for local artists to present the background. And,
yeah, so Erie Arts and Culture, we partnered with them and they provided a matching grant with us to help design the stage.
Excellent. Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
It's going to be awesome. He was actually spoke at our TEDx Erie salon last Wednesday.
How has this year kind of evolved and changed since you've been running it?
We have less money now.
Oh, okay.
The perennial
less is
the perennial problem of startups. I mean, the first year we actually lucked out a lot. We got a lot of help from the Small Business Development Center again, and they had a grant and they gave us a lot of money. And that grant doesn't exist anymore. So we're shy a lot of money. So. Okay. That makes us not. We're still going to have an event. And it's going to be great.
Right. I mean, the lineup of speakers and everything is still
because we don't pay speakers. We don't pay. I don't get paid. It's labor of love, but it's cameras are expensive.
Right.
And equipment's expensive and all of that thing.
And it's a well-oiled machine.
Right. We've done it four or five times already. As far as the production, we know what to do. It's just
doing it. Yeah.
Execution.
Are there any certain speakers or anyone you're looking forward to seeing this year? Probably all of them, obviously. But
well, people always ask me this and say, who's speaking and what's speaking. Like, sort of misses the point. It really is an experience.
Yes.
I've been to the main TED conference, which is a week long, and it's solid.
Is that in San Francisco?
Vancouver.
Oh, sorry.
All day events, for a week, and the experience of listening to these people talk one after the other is just incredible.
Yeah, there's probably not one that you're like, well, that was it.
You never know because it's live. When you go to the live show, it's the experience. You're there for the camaraderie. You're there to listen to what these people have to say. And we've arranged them in a certain way just because we think that they flow.
Right.
But just getting in there and getting your mind open to just these ideas flooding at you is just, it's incredible.
It's a really unique experience. I was lucky enough to go there last year, and so it begins at 1. Is that correct? And runs until
we're done.
Yeah.
So generally about 5:30, 6.
Around the evening.
Yeah, around the evening. Yeah.
And
so
will there be an intermission this year?
Half an hour intermission this year. A little bit shorter.
Last year there was like an hour.
Yeah, and first year we needed it.
Right.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, you gotta kind of catch up, and there's a lot of things to do.
Exactly. And so this year we don't need as long, so we'll try to get it going.
Well, excellent. I will certainly be there.
You better be there.
I know. My band Cult Classics is playing. Got lucky enough to be booked with that. So if you are there, check us out. And
I'll be there.
You better be there as well too. I just want to thank you so much, John.
No problem. Thank you.
And for more information, go
TEDxErie.com.
Yes, absolutely. And check out those salons and just stay tuned. And I just want to thank everyone for watching and want to have you check back with us in 2 short weeks. And if you want your event to be featured here or on our event calendar or in print, go to our calendar and click Submit an Event to the Erie Reader and it will be on there. So thank you very much and have a wonderful, wonderful day.